Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, my name is Apostate Alex, and for those of you new to my channel, I used to be the Director of Public Book Sales at the Church of Scientology in London. For those of you who already know me, hi, welcome, I'm back. I've kind of lost my voice a little bit. It's festival season now, so I'm busy working every weekend, and I've just come off the back of a festival, so please excuse my voice. But I have exciting news. Just going to be a short video today updating you on something that has just happened here in the UK. Hello, Mama Blue, Burbs P. Go, Power Thetans, Mary Kay. Hi, everybody. Hi, Mary Kay. Thank you for joining. So, for those of you who don't know already, John Sweeney is a journalist who used to work for the BBC. He was behind the BBC Panorama documentary that exposed Scientology for its abuses and its crimes, and talked about fair game. And he very famously lost it on TV at Tommy Davis, the spokesperson at the time for the Church of Scientology, with that very famous clip that was posted by John Alex Wood, a Scientologist here in the UK, onto YouTube that got millions of views. I've talked about this previously. I've met John Sweeney for a pint or two. He's a very lovely guy. I actually once offered John Sweeney a stress test while I was working for the Church of Scientology, which is another story for another day. But I was messaging John Sweeney earlier today because I know that he is running for Parliament. We are just about to go into a new general election here in the UK. Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, just announced that we're going to have a general election on the 4th of July, and so it's election season, and John Sweeney is standing as a Liberal Democrat for the Sutton Coldfield constituency, and this is not exactly going to be good news for the Church of Scientology. So I'm going to read through an article that I wrote on my blog Scientology Business about this just earlier today. If you haven't already, please go and check it out. There's a link in the description. John Sweeney pledges Scientology debate if elected to Parliament. Journalist and Scientology public enemy number one in the UK, John Sweeney, is standing in the upcoming general election and has vowed to hold a debate condemning the church's abuse of young and vulnerable people in the UK and around the world if elected. Earlier this week, John Sweeney was announced as the Lib Dem parliamentary candidate for Sutton Coldfield in the general election. He tells us, for far too long, Britain's political establishment has given the Church of Scientology an easy ride. It is a church that blackmails and brainwashes its young adepts. Its Hollywood stars are treated like gods rather than ambassadors for a kind of mafia organization that wears the mask of a religion. In his 2013 book, The Church of Fear, actually, I'm going to read this correct. This is John Sweeney's book here, which I'm reading at the moment. It's taken me a while to get around to it. But in the first chapter of his book, I'm just going to read this little excerpt for you because I think it just shows how ballsy John Sweeney is and the effects and impact the Church of Scientology has on people's mental health. He says, I used to be a war reporter from Algeria, Bosnia, and Chechnya to Zimbabwe. I have been shelled, shot at, bombed, arrested, threatened, and a Serb devotee of Slobodan Mislovic once stuck 2 sticks of dynamite up my nose. But never, ever, in all my times, in all those wars, have I ever felt under such harrowing psychological pressure as I did inside the brainwashing section of the Church of Scientology's exhibition, Psychiatry, the Industry of Death, on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles in the spring of 2007. So that's his book, The Church of Fear. And I think it just goes to show the extent to which Scientology will go to harass, intimidate, and get in the heads of journalists and people who are speaking out against Scientology. So John Sweeney knows very, very well the sort of tactics that Scientology play and use to try and gain legitimacy and squash any negative attention that it gets. Let's carry on with this article. Speaking to Scientology Business, Sweeney pledged that if elected, I would hold a debate condemning the church's abuse of young and vulnerable people in the UK and around the world. Pressure is mounting against Scientology in the UK. In February, HM Revenue and Customs, that's the IRS for the UK basically, their chief executive Jim Harrow responded to calls for an investigation into Scientology's UK finances after former Shadow Home Secretary Diane Abbott wrote to him citing their history of fraudulent activity internationally. Now, this is something that I've previously reported on here on this channel. That's something I was working on towards the end of last year. In September, I wrote to Diane Abbott, who's my local member of parliament, asking what she could do to help with the whole Scientology situation, the harassment that I've been getting from the Office of Special Affairs. And she said that she has written to HMRC requesting a fraud investigation. That was then followed up by a number of conversations that I had with her and her secretary, which has now led to HMRC responding to that claim, to those calls, sorry, which is now on Scientology Business. Scientology has previously faced government scrutiny, with a 1975 report produced under Prime Minister Harold Wilson concluding the Church of Scientology does not merely persuade people to part with their money, it is a harmful movement with an evil reputation. Visa restrictions were placed on Scientologists visiting the UK. However, these were eventually lifted, and last year Scientology were awarded visa sponsoring status after its buildings were designated places of public religious worship in a 2023 tax ruling. According to former Church of Scientology spokesperson Mike Grinder, John Sweeney's election as a member of parliament would be a nightmare for David Miscavige. Someone who understands the reality of Scientology in a position of power and authority is, to use their term, total en theta. How wonderfully ironic it would be for a declared suppressive person to be elected to a national parliamentary position when the cult has been unable to get any Scientologist elected anywhere, even on a local level. So that's the article. Please go and check it out on the website in the link down below. But that's the news. John Sweeney is running for MP. If he is elected as a Liberal Democrat, he will table a debate into Scientology, specifically focusing on the abuse of vulnerable people and young people here in the UK, which is huge, huge news. Fingers crossed that he wins. If you live in or around the Sutton Coldfield area, please do vote for John Sweeney. I'm not getting involved in a political debate in terms of whether I'm voting right, left, middle, whatever, because I'm not here to discuss politics. But what I am here to do is champion politicians who are taking a stand against Scientology. And John Sweeney is now one of those such people. Diane Abbott is a Labour member of parliament. She had the whip restored, I think it was earlier today or yesterday. So she, I believe, will now be standing as a Labour MP at the next election, and she has made it very clear that what her position is on Scientology. So I promote both Diane Abbott and John Sweeney as people you should vote for if you can. And I hope there will be more members of parliament following suit. I'm very busy with work at the moment. The summer is my busiest period of time, working at music festivals and so on. However, the activism is still going on, and after festivals or outside festivals, all of my time is spent towards lobbying members of parliament and working on things that I can do to try and raise awareness and get it on as many people's radar as possible. I put out a quote just the other day on Twitter and here on my YouTube channel, which is Scientology's take on governmental relations, which basically shows how Scientology tried to engage with politicians pretty much exclusively to bring them under their control and to win them over, rather than to seek to help the local community in any sort of way. I, in that tweet, mentioned, or tagged all of the members of parliament who are in places where Scientology have buildings in the UK, in their constituencies, and I'm waiting for some responses, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think this election is not an election that's all about Scientology. Of course, there are much bigger and more concerning issues our country is facing. However, we have an opportunity here to at least make some sort of small difference and get a little bit of news on their radar about Scientology. If we can get a few politicians on board to suggest or agree with tabling a motion to debate Scientology, then it's going to be a much bigger story. And hopefully Parliament will be able to step in and do something about the abuse that's going on right now at St. Hill. Let's have a little look at some of these comments in the chat that I've been ignoring. Apologies for that. Howard Taylor Esquire. John Sweeney Raw can still hear his roar at Davies. Yes, and it was iconic piece of television history, I think. Mama Bluebird says that passage was powerful. Damn, yes, it's a great book. I would recommend you read it if you haven't already. Hey, Rio for Life, Kim D, and hello, Selena. Selena from Wales is here. Hi, Selena. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. Mama Blue here says, question, Scientology isn't big where I am. Is it worth talking to my local candidate about it? Yes, absolutely, because it's not about how big Scientology is in your local area. It's a national issue, right? If you want to debate something in Parliament, it's not just the MPs who have a Scientology building in their constituency that we need to discuss and debate. It's not just a localized issue where they have orgs, such as the Ideal org in London or Birmingham, or the smaller orgs and missions like Manchester, Sunderland, Bournemouth and Poole, obviously the advanced org down at St Hill. They're small places in terms of where their operation is, but it's a national problem because Scientology will want to expand and they want to recruit anywhere in the country. Let's not forget Scotland as well. There's Happy up in Edinburgh. There aren't any Scientology orgs that I'm aware of in Wales, but that doesn't mean they won't try. And this is the problem, is if you table something for debate in Parliament and 100% of MPs who have a Scientology building in their constituency vote against it, it won't pass because you need a majority of Parliament to vote on it. So it is definitely absolutely something I'd recommend you speak to your candidate about and ask what their views are. What would they do? What are they planning to do to try and help the victims and survivors of Scientology abuse, and what are they going to do if they're elected to help support those people and make sure that that abuse stops or is lessened in some way. So 100%, please ask your MP or your prospective MP what they are planning to do about this. We have had lots of local councils and stuff step in and make small minor rulings in the past in the local areas. But in order to stop Scientology's expansion and to stop the further abuse, it's going to require a national debate and it's going to require government stepping in. So the more local representatives you can get involved, the better. So please do write to your MP and ask what they can do to help. That's what I did. I just asked my MP, Diane Abbott, what she could do to help. And she came back saying, I've already written requesting an investigation into their fraud, which was a huge surprise to me. But it all started just from me asking for a little bit of help from my local MP. So please, absolutely do that. Sue Denham, hi Alex, I vote Sweeney. Yes, 100%. Gold Astro Cap, more power to Sweeney. Yeah, John Sweeney is a bulldozer, a tank. He is not someone that you're going to want to mess with, especially Scientology, and not very happy about John Sweeney anyway. And he is certainly not on their good list or in their good books. So I'm sure Scientology are going to be very, very concerned about John Sweeney's recent political movements. And if he does get elected, it's not going to end well for Scientology. Patrick Skinner here, comment, the best response to the reader book reply, how much is the book? Reply to the price. So everyone must pay to learn about Scientology. You know, that makes it a cult. Yeah, I mean, look, that's a good question to ask. I mean, I used to sell books in Scientology. That was my job. And whenever I had this conversation, I would just say, no, you don't have to pay. You can attend a Sunday service for free. You could go and borrow a book from a library. You don't have to purchase the book from us as long as you get the book somehow and read it. That is the best way of learning about Scientology. So no, you don't have to pay to be in Scientology. That's the response that I would have given. So that's probably the response you would get from that sort of question. But, you know, it is a pay for religion and there's not much you can do for free. So even if you do all of the things that the salesperson is trying to suggest you do, there will come a point where you have to pay, because I've never heard of a single person doing even the purification rundown for free. It's all money oriented. Selena, what is Sweeney's constituency? It is Sutton Coldfield, which is up near Birmingham. So if you're in that area, vote for Sweeney. Leanie G, have you seen the new Ideal Org building in Edinburgh next to the Murrayfield Stadium? I can email pictures. Yes, I have. And there are some great pictures that are floating around already. It's not going to happen anytime soon. I'd be very surprised. My understanding from inside sources is that the priority right now is Manchester, getting that building finished, refurbed, and open as an Ideal Org. Then there will be a push towards all the other orgs. Edinburgh has actually had that building for a pretty long time. I understand it's been a couple of years. I might be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But that building is in like a business park, and apparently it's going to be the new Ideal Org for Scotland. But you've got to remember, you cannot open an Ideal Org without a certain number of staff members. I believe off the top of my head, it was 85. So you need 85 staff to open as Ideal. And that's on the day and then 85 in foundation as well. So you need to get 170 staff members, 170 staff members in order to open as ideal, not to mention raise the money to actually refurb the building and do all that other stuff as well. So I really don't think that will be happening anytime soon. But yes, it's another vacant building Scientology have in the UK that's standing there doing absolutely nothing. So guys, that's all from me. Quick update. If you want to support the channel, please consider buying me a coffee with the link down below. I use that money to help continue with my activism. I have some important meetings this week and next week, and I hope to start connecting with more potential members of parliament, people who are running in this general election, and do a bit of campaigning out there and seeing what responses I can get from local MPs. Obviously, I'm working on a lot of video content too. I've got all the stuff that I was working on in LA still to work on. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. I'm working flat out at festival season, so please bear with me. I'm not going to be able to video updates every day, but I'll keep you in the loop. Troy Snuffles, which party is he running for? The Liberal Democrats. John Sweeney is running for. SP Chef Sam, lovely seeing you back in Mother England. I'll have to rewatch tomorrow. Have a lovely life. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for popping in here, and thank you everybody else as well for joining. As I said, support the channel, buy me a coffee. If you want to support in other ways, the best way of doing it is like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. It helps push the video out to more people, and let's try and get Scientology on the register of things that are going to be debated in the upcoming general election. But that's it from me, and as always, I'm on war footing and I'm not fucking about.